Since 1961, Quartz Plumbing has offered friendly, reliable service to residences all over Bergen County, New Jersey. We are a fourth-generation family-owned business, unmatched in customer satisfaction and professionalism while working in your home. We are the hydronic heating and water filtration specialists, with a workmanship guarantee to put you at ease so you can rest comfortably. We offer financing for those big projects that catch you off guard, and we have a network of excellent contractors in all fields for any project you wish to tackle. Call our responsive office team, and we'll dispatch a handsome and educated technician to lay the smackdown on all your plumbing issues. You can also find us at Cordtsplumbing.com, search us on Google, or follow us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube.
Like, subscribe, and share, please.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a special episode of Plum Bums Podcast, the blue-collar tradesman show where we talk about small business and entrepreneurship in these crazy times. The Thanksgiving episode, your favorite holiday, and mine, actually.
Yeah, and I'm just going to say I love it when you get it the first time. It's great.
You know, the first half I get it. The second half when we do the intermission, I lose it for some reason. I don't know why. But here we are, Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Your favorite holiday.
My favorite holiday. The only fun fact that I have about the holiday is that most people thought it started with America and the Pilgrims and the Indians getting together, but it was a holiday that predated that way before, probably in the 1500s.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Why don't you give a little rundown?
Rundown of what? That's all I really know.
In your radio voice.
Is that it started way before America.
Thanksgiving was a thing before the Pilgrims came here.
Yeah, it's also celebrated in a lot of countries. It's a religious thing. It's mostly a religious thing.
I mean, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Thanksgiving, gratitude. It's important to the Christian faith, I would say.
Yep.
I love this holiday too. I don't know why. There's something about it.
Food.
Food,
because you're a big food guy.
I mean, that may be true. It's not the food though. It's the atmosphere. It's the time of year. It's the weather. It's the leaves. It's a whole bunch of stuff.
Family.
You're not obligated to buy presents for people.
Family, which is well, that's huge.
What?
This time of year, not having to buy presents for people. It's crazy.
Well, we're living in crazy times.
I have a niece that she's already come to me with her list of things that she wants for Christmas. She's not cheap. She's not like her mother is an expensive woman. All right. So she passed that trait on to her daughter.
I'm going to tell you something you're going to have to watch out for because she's at that age, that transition age, 10, 11, 12, when you're getting up to that age, you want just toys and stupid things that you can find at Toys R Us. And then when you get past that age, you want tech.
She wants all of it. She wants toys. She wants tech. She wants makeup. She wants Gucci.
What?
Yeah.
She wants Gucci?
Oh,
Gucci what?
Yeah. Gucci whatever. Belts,
Just go to Chinatown in the city. Pick up some Moochie.
She knows the difference. She's sitting there scratching the belt leather like, this is not real. I know you got this from Chinatown.
I know where she got those skills was from her mother.
Yeah.
Food, family, Brown Friday. Didn't you bring that up last week? Brown Friday.
I brought that up last week, and I think I brought it up last year during our last Thanksgiving podcast, but it's the busiest day for plumbers. The busiest day in the country for plumbers because...
Packed houses,
and no, it's not just because of the poop. It's because everybody, like all the food, like people who throw their food waste down the drains, which clogs up way more than...
The homes are overloaded with people.
Yeah.
It's like general, because we get Thanksgiving calls all the time. It's not just clogged sewers. It's leaky valves. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So and people get into a panic.
Yes.
Before Thanksgiving too, people get into a panic, or just the holidays because they're like, if this doesn't work, I can't have people over. Right. It's like you have 4 other toilets in the house. You don't need the. It's not the worst thing in the world.
We get those calls all the time. So someone will call Nancy. She's like, I need you guys over here right now. My toilet won't flush. And they have like 9 toilets.
I know. My grandfather who grew up in Romania, they had a common stall outside of the building. So you would have outdoors. You would have to go out of the building, go to the common stall, and it's not like you flush in a toilet. It's a pit that you pee and poop in. So, yeah. Be thankful that you have
That's crazy. That was
be thankful.
That was this whole country 100 years ago.
I know. Yeah.
Outhouses, pooping in pits.
Yep.
It's crazy. The technological advances in the last 100 years.
Modern plumbing is probably the greatest of those advancements, and you can thank the Romans for that.
Yes, you can.
So
the Romans invented a lot, and you know what's crazy about the Romans? The things they built is still standing.
Yeah.
After all these years.
Yep.
Anyway, Thanksgiving, folks. Great time of year. We're happy to be doing this. We're over a year doing this show.
Yeah.
Which is impressive.
Very impressive.
What was the stat you gave me about podcasts that don't last?
I think it's about 70 or 80% of podcasts don't go past the first 10 episodes.
We're well past that.
Yeah.
All right, so where's our success?
But it's just about...
Why aren't you guys sharing?
Well, I think I've said this before. Joe Rogan didn't become successful for a few years into his podcast.
It took him 10 years.
Yeah.
And he was on TV already.
And he was on TV already, exactly.
So we're screwed. There's no hope for this show.
There's no hope. It's I guess the key to it, just like the key to everything, it's corny, but it's perseverance. As long as you keep doing it, even if it's not the best, just keep doing it because you're going to get better. So
I enjoy it.
I do.
Even if we don't really have many viewers.
This is male therapy.
Yeah, exactly. That's what you say all the time. This is male therapy because we don't go and talk about our feelings. We just spill it on camera. And we make fun of each other. Well, that's all day long. Yeah, but that's the therapy. Folks, we have we had this guy on. I'm going to say this guy for now because I'm going to hold the identity for a second. We had this guy on the third episode. Was he only the third? Well, the first one where we had a first guest. Yeah. We had this guy on for our first guest episode when we were just doing audio. This guy. Yeah. Is that rude to say? This guy that just owns the company. Yeah. We have Unky Polly over here on Plum Bums podcast for now that we have the video going. Oh, by the way, I didn't forget that one over there is your camera. So if you want to make the Cordts Jim are good, from The Office eyes, make it at that camera. The Cordts are good looking people, no? Try to be. Well, I mean, I actually don't try anything. It just happens. Just happens. Yeah. They're both doing their hair before they get on camera. Is it going to be okay? You know why? Fine. Because my hair looked like a mess today. I didn't want to go on. The past couple episodes, I just jump on after work. It's fine. Nobody's looking at your hair. All right. Well, then stop bringing it up. Anyway. Yeah, I was on a Zoom call today, and I looked in my Zoom camera. It's like I'm like a silver fox. it's like what's with the gray hair? It's like I need hair club for men. No. Was that no men is not hair club for men. I have so you were on. We did audio. We started this audio, and I remember I pitched this podcast to you. And I was like, yeah, me and Max are talking about doing a podcast. He shat on it right away. Yeah. He was like, I thought it was a great idea. What are you, out of your minds? No, Who wants to hear two plumbers talk about? I don't think you really understood what we were trying to do. Neither did we. But we gave it a shot, and I sent you the first episode, and you said you drove around just to finish it. Yeah. Because you were like kind of intrigued at what we were talking about. Yeah. Yeah. And here we are over a year later. He's very supportive. Very supportive. Listen, I always like a good idea that eventually takes off, and just like anything, it takes some time. Still waiting. Yeah. Listen, the amount of interest I've talked to people about, and anybody I talked about, I say, listen, you got to get on my nephew's podcast because if you want exposure for your company or your business, get on this podcast because there's no podcast like this. There's no podcast out there telling you how to run a business, how to be an entrepreneur, how to how to go out there and, be your own boss. They're not giving you candid insider information. Yeah. You take other podcasts. I'm not going to mention names, but they're just interviewing the person. Right. Just to see what they do in their lives. Well, before we started doing this, I was trolling other blue collar podcasts and stuff. And they're just and we put this here and this is how we do the roof. And this is how, and it's that's not interesting to people. Yeah. Well, think about it like this. When you watch those home improvement type shows and they show you how to do things, it's popular, but you don't remember that person. Right. You're not turning on the TV because it's that guy. You like that guy. I mean, some might for the Property Brothers or something or no, I'll take this old house. I'll watch the same episode about 20 times. Yeah. And then my wife's like, didn't you already see that? I'm like, yeah, but you understand the way he cut this? I want to make sure I can copy that on a job. And I pulled a lot of stuff off of it. I think I was telling you the other day about Mike Rowe, who now took an interest into kids instead of going to college,
start going to trade schools because there's 11 million deficit of kids trying to get that there's no trades coming up.
11 million people out of the workforce.
I'm like the old school right now. You guys like the young school, and you're like middle young or middle. You're like I'm the
middle
back.
age.
We're still pretty
middle
fresh.
age.
Yeah, I'm the back. Listen, I'm the back nine. You guys are back the ninth hole.
We're still buying our tickets.
Yeah. To bring guys up is something that has to be done, and I think that he has an idea, and that's what I'm saying. Podcasts like this, if you ever see it, I think he'd be excited about it because this is about owning businesses, being an entrepreneur, learning how to do a trade, and that's huge.
Well, I'm also going to say this, especially about Quartz Plumbing, and I'm not here to fluff you guys, but it's very important for younger people, like we're going to talk about, but younger people to find a company that has the patience and the ability to work with somebody who's green.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
somebody
like me I didn't know anything about plumbing. I didn't want to get into plumbing. I wanted to get into electrical, but I wanted to work. And once I got into it, both of you were very, very helpful. And I think that's hard to find with the older guys trying to hire younger guys. And I think it deters people, younger people, from actually getting into this field too.
Yeah. I mean, listen, most companies, you left us for a little bit, you went to work for another company and you got your chops busted relentlessly.
Yeah, it was a different type of environment that
there's a hardness.
I wasn't such a fan of. I like here because one, it's a small company, but two, it's like it's a ball busting type company. But again, you're always willing to help. You don't mind mistakes happen, and you guys, not that you don't mind when I make mistakes.
Yeah, we do mind, but
yeah, I know. But it's like you're there to help, and you're there to teach too, which is very difficult to find.
Yeah, but a lot of times I think is that the owners were just guys in the field and they're like, well, I can run a business now. And then they get out there, they have no business sense, and they just get there and they don't have to charge.
Well, that's an epidemic.
It is an epidemic, but then they get angry because they see a vision that they don't share with the team, that this is where I want to go. Mm-hmm. I think you try to sell everybody where we want to be. It gets frustrating because nothing goes down the right path. You're like, got an idea, let's do it. And the next thing you know, you're going to get kicked in the shins because your idea it takes a lot of work to get to it.
I think in general, small business owners, entrepreneurs, there's a lot of discouragement in a whole bunch of different aspects as you're trying to grow, as you're trying to build. You have to learn and train yourself to not get run down by the constant discouragement. Or you can't survive as a small business owner. You can't just do it because it's disappointment after disappointment.
Yeah, but discouragement comes from not tying yourself into the biggest thing. I think being in your own business, and the biggest problem I see is the pride that these owners don't want to say, let me stop for a minute. Let me go talk to this guy. I flew around all over the United States going out of my own pocket, just seeing other companies, what they do. And I seen multi-million-dollar companies at George Brazil out of California, Maurice Mayo out of California. Then I went to Indiana and I just dropped in these guys. I said, listen, I'm in town. You mind if I come and look at your company? They're like, yeah, whatever. I went there and they were like, yeah, this is what we do, this we do. And I have a vision of it. And that's what I always tell you to do. Go take a weekend and go find a company that you can say, listen, I'm in your area. Can I just stop in, take a camper?
Go find a successful company.
Exactly. And just see what they do out of the state. And all of a sudden you find a successful company. That's going to be sticking in your head, and then that vision will never go away.
Yeah.
The problem is that most of the guys here, their biggest success is themselves. So they have no vision of, oh, look what I've done. I mean, a lot of guys you have on a show here, I see what they did. Like you had Pete Carriage just with Van Gogh. Pete is very successful, and I always watched how Pete ran things.
Pete's effortlessly successful.
Well, he makes it look that way.
I guess
there's plenty of times we've talked. He just wanted to take a bomb to everything and start over again. But he's been doing it for so long. But he has that patience of, okay, it broke. Let me work on it, and we'll move from there. And that's the thing that when you go work for another company, you get like, oh, these guys are much better than me, and no, they're not. They're not. I mean, just go look at the supply house.
Yeah.
Just go look at the guy next to you.
Yeah.
He looks like a bum. Let me take that back. You're hoping these guys win. Because,
no, leave it there on the table.
Exactly.
You're right.
You're hoping these guys are successful because their success makes you successful. I find problems, the problem side of it is the franchise companies. They're the companies that they have a pattern. They don't want anybody competing. You got that. You got the power companies and stuff like that that come out. You can't follow that pattern because you don't have the money.
No.
But you look at smaller plumbers who are successful. I talk in our group, Mike Medaglia, he used to own Waterworks. I followed him for years, and to this day, we're still close friends as far as show me what to do, what not to do, call me up, has ideas, and he says, Paul, try this, try that. Mm-hmm. So it's plugging yourself into somebody and not having pride saying, I don't need that.
Right.
You always got to say, I need everything.
It's the willingness to take risks, which this company, Quartz, is willing to do. I mean, I think we're one of the only companies around that has the systems in place that we do. Using online.
A company our size, I would say.
A company our size, online programming, which the two of you got together and built something that most small companies just don't have.
Because it's time consuming.
It's time consuming, but it's also a risk. People are, like you said, people live in their box, especially in this field, in these trades. They live in the box and they say, okay, I'm going to go to work. I'm going to write up a paper receipt. I'm going to have this. I'm going to take a yellow pages out in the ad. But you convinced him, let's outside the box.
Right.
It's risky. It costs money, but that's what it is to run a business.
Yeah.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
And you got to watch the most unassuming guys. You're like, oh, he'll never be successful. I know I have plenty of friends who run businesses that are just, you don't want to hang around them after hours because whatever, but as businessmen, they're smart. They get the job done. And then, you're like, well, what does he know that I don't know? Why is he successful? Is he taking more risks than I am? And, and just like you said, you were talking the other day just about how to talk to customers and what's the best way to have them understand what you're trying to do. And it does take going online. It does take going to classes. It does take getting a hold of programs that are going to make you better.
Absolutely. There's plenty of guys out there that are happy with going to plumbing school, getting their license, and changing toilet valves, billing the customer out, doing sink replacement, billing the customer out. I think, and what you were saying before, that there's you look at a lot of these companies that aren't really evolving with the business. The biggest reason is there's such a gap between the old timers and the guys coming up, because the average age of a plumber now today is 52, 53. 10, 15 years ago, it was 40. And now you have these new guys coming up who grew up on tech. They know how to utilize social media. The old guys don't want to learn that. They don't even want to bother.
But on top of it, just take a football team, for example. If you're a kid in college and you look at the NFL, you're saying, wow, look at these guys. These guys are unbelievable. You have something to see. You can't see your competition because he has a nice looking truck. I saw another company the other night, beautiful box truck. I'm like, man, I know we have great equipment. So I looked at his truck and I was jealous, well, I like what he's doing. I know this company, his company started when my father started and he still has his company out there. But it's
in
just
this area?
Yeah. So I'm not going to mention names, but I know him. I'll tell you about him later. But, it's just like a college kid wanting to get in the NFL. He sees what he can be. He sees the fact that he can go out there if he tries hard. I see with my own son. He's in high school.
He wants to be in the NFL.
He says it.
Him and Mason.
I was there.
Yeah. Oh no, everyone. I wanted to play in the NFL.
I mean, you have the size to do it. I died.
Yeah, but I try and I take him out to practice. And he starts catching one hand. I go, you do that, I'm not going to throw the ball to you.
Yeah.
Well, everyone else is doing it. I'm like, no, you don't. You got to learn the basics. But these guys have college guys or high school guys. They see the NFL. They want to be that person. In our industry, we don't have that. We don't have something you want to see and say, I want my company to be like that. That's why I say go travel the country and find companies similar to your size, no, not your size, bigger, and see what they do. And you'll be blown away. You'll be blown away.
You look at a company that's where you want to be. So it builds a vision. You build a vision for yourself.
You go to you find a state where you want to go. Virginia, take a trailer. Hey, I'm going to be down here. You mind if I stop and talk to you about business? Good business owners will sit down and say, absolutely.
Yeah.
There's not one person I called that said, no, I'm good. I can't help you out.
I mean, you have to start looking for those companies now because there's huge companies that a lot of plumbers look up and they say, wow, I wish I was like that. Like the franchise companies, the gold medals, the AJ Perrys who are huge with all these trucks. But you know what we hear from customers? They come in, they do their procedure, they almost gouge the customer where they're not getting return business. So they're banking on a volume of new customers to get in there, make their money, and maybe they'll get a couple calls back, but then moving on.
That's franchise companies.
That's franchise companies.
I'm not talking about franchise companies.
Of course, that's what I'm saying. You need to actually look for these companies that have our mindset but are growing.
Look for a company that has 10 trucks.
Right.
You know, see, in the yellow page is easy. You saw what page you see the guy show his trucks. He would show, I got 10 trucks out there. You know, and you can go to any online thing and find companies out there, and you just call them up and say, hey, listen, let me come out. Do you mind? I'm gonna be in your area.
Yeah.
Do you mind if I stop for, try to get it on a Thursday or Friday, so you can see how it really won. I went to Indiana or St. Louis, just flew in, and the guy's like, yeah, my business, I run up, there's a main road that goes up and down St. Louis. He goes, I go, listen, I'm going to be there. I wasn't going to be there. I got things to do out there. You mind if I stop in on Friday and take a ride with one of you guys? And he's like, yeah, absolutely. Come on in. I took a ride.
You actually went on a ride?
Oh, yeah. I went on a ride with a guy. And I was doing helping with the plumbing inside the house. I said, don't pay me. Just have me go for a ride. I just want to learn about your business. And if they're a good owner, they'll say, yeah, come on in.
Yeah, but that's a completely different type of mentality that, like, I'll be honest, I'll say that I didn't even have an idea like that in my head to take a trip somewhere. You built something, because I remember him talking about how when you guys were first starting, when you worked and you had 4 or 5 trucks.
Yeah.
You had 10 guys working for you?
Well, that took a couple of years.
Yeah.
It took a couple of years, but
it wasn't that many. It was, I think,
you also had this
four guys, yeah.
grow, build mentality, which is, again, it's a risk-taking mentality. And then obviously 08,
Yeah, that was the 90s. That one, the economy was still going good. People want to grow big. We've gotten beaten up for the past 15 years.
Right.
And businesses right now, when you drive down Route 4, Route 17, you see storefronts that are closed. I never saw that
exactly
until the 2000s.
Yep.
And I was
true.
Yeah, never saw a storefront closed.
What do you guys think kept Quartz around for so long versus other companies?
God.
Yes,
There's
God.
no doubt.
But I'm going to say this. I think it's the local aspect of Quartz. I go back to the fact that I drive the truck everywhere. Everybody always asks about Paul Quartz. Everybody asks about the older customers ask about your father, his grandfather. And I think that's what people are losing, that also Gold Medal, Benjamin Franklin, those big companies don't necessarily offer, is that you're from this town that we do most of our work in. Everybody wants to see the owner's face, one of the Quartz's face. It's a Quartz company. It's not like you have Quartz Plumbing and Heating and you have Joe Schmo working for you. Not that that's so bad, but you guys are showing up to people's homes, and people love to see that.
Yeah, you're getting a Quartz that's
people
coming to your
love
house.
to shop local. That's why shop local is becoming so huge.
Well, yeah, and that's the whole thing, and that's and that's the way you have to capture it and hold on to it, And it's there's a lot of programs you can watch that become the greatest marketer in the world, whatever. But we're lucky because it is a family business. How many family businesses are now left that was around my father when was around? I would say we're one of them. Breitenbach. There's a bunch of guys. Wickersheim. There's probably maybe 15, 20 plumbers really that were the original ones. Woody's. These are guys that are all friends of mine still today. I call and say, hey, can you help us out? Because
that lasted. Is that what you're saying? That lasted?
Yeah. Well, a lot of them just went out.
Yeah.
They're just because the last person, there was a guy called Big Ed, was a plumber, and he was at a Dumont.
I remember. There's people that still talk about that guy.
Big Ed. He was the funniest guy. Dad, my father and I got along great. Big truck, and it said Big Ed's Plumbing. And but the thing back then is that all the old time plumbers would drive to the supply house, and that would be like their first day meeting.
Right.
Sitting around having coffees, donuts. What are you guys doing today? And there was really nobody screwing everybody over. There was like, well, I'm going over here. I'm going over here. And then, they would then go on their jobs and they'd be all friends.
Yeah.
And then came the I got to be number one guy comes in, and he just like screws everybody over. I mean, when I went to licensing school, there was a kid in there, and I'm not going to mention his name. He's like, if you called another plumber, we both got screwed. It's like, huh? Oh, yeah, put that on a truck. And I was like, and I
did it work?
Well, he's apparently still in business. So
all right, let's try it.
No, if you called another plumber, we both lost money, is what he said on there. Something like that. It was arrogant.
Yeah,
he was an arrogant kid, and if he probably sees the podcast, he'll know who he is. Not that I really, I mean, I don't know where he is today.
Come find us.
Yeah, he'll find us. But I just thought
at 161.
Yeah, I just thought that okay, so if that works for you, then fine. But you're gonna have to build your business on that type of rep. That you are like, you're not looking out for your friends. Listen, how many guys have I introduced you in our industry that I can call it at a drop of a dime? Yeah. Wickersheim, Woody's, all these guys I can call and say, hey, just give Scott a call, give Rob a call. I mean, because we knew that there's plenty of work in the area.
Yes.
Build your business with friendship.
Yep.
And grow from there.
Network.
I mean, Pascack Valley Plumbers Association. I mean, all those guys there, we all know each other.
Right.
There's
too much work around here to be like offended if somebody, there's no point in being defensive of your customers, all this stuff. There's way too much work for that. It's stupid, and it ostracizes you from the rest of the plumbers in the industry. I mean this in the next couple episodes, we have like 3 local plumbers who are supposed to be our competitors that are coming on here.
Yeah, they should be.
And we're just going to come on here and BS and talk about,
Listen, I'm good friends with Keith Hammer. His father was my father's drain guy when he started out with. These guys are all still around. The kids now took over, and we're all still friends. Like, we know that, I think the hardest thing is us trying to find qualified workers, people to come into our industry and say, hey, this is what I want to do for a living. Because you're right. You go to the guy when you left, and you're like, ugh, like, I don't want to live here.
And I don't want to say anything bad about them because they were good.
No,
they were good. I liked them. I liked their son. I still talk to their son and stuff. But it wasn't the same environment, I guess, that I wanted to be in. That Quartz kind of
built up.
That Quartz kind of builds. So
yeah, it's tough. Listen, this is not it. I keep telling him, this is not easy.
No.
I mean, my father was doing it since 1961. I wasn't born yet, and his father did some of it, and then he had to take over. And it was just, and I watched when I was a little kid, my father's office was in the middle of the house, and he had this big answering service. It was like the size of like.
This was in the 60s you're talking about?
He's 70s, yeah. So every day
in that like dining room area?
It was between the kitchen.
Because I remember the old setup of that house.
Yeah. It was all open. So it's open now, but it was a weird open. Like we're surprised the house even.
Yeah, that house never made any sense until recently.
Yeah. So he had this thing, and I just had that mindset back then when I saw my father was struggling, that there was this big box and there was a little arrow on it that said, it went all the way up to like 20. And every time you got a call, the arrow went up. And he would come home and look at the box, and there was a 0, no calls. So, and he, for a couple weeks. And there's one time I saw him go to the phone, lift it up to see if it was working.
Yeah.
And
that's terrifying.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And 7 kids. There were 7 of us.
Yeah.
And I was sitting there and I was like, Brian, I'm like, oh man, would you send us some work?
See, that's why when people complain, I think, about the economy doing well or doing poor, yes, it matters. It makes a huge difference. But as long as you're good at business, as long as you know your business, I think you'll always survive. And I think that's a part of the reason why Quartz survived.
Well, know your numbers.
Knowing your numbers, yeah.
There was a guy and another friend of ours in Bergenfield, his drain company. This guy never touched a drain, but he was such a smart guy, knew his numbers. A lot of good plumbers came out of his business. He ended up selling his business for a couple million, went down to Florida, did it again. He never touched a tool. And
there's a lot of guys like that.
Yeah. I see guys like that.
Yeah.
The problem is that we're still caught up in the mentality that, oh, we got to work to make the money, and to make that step, and the risk is you got to rely on your numbers, because if you don't believe your numbers, you're not going to make those moves. How many times we talk about it? It's like, well, should we hire this person? Should we do this? Well, I guess so. I mean, you were a risk, I mean,
yeah.
And I think that
how long did you guys say, going back to the hiring younger guys, how long did you say that it takes for a new hire to become profitable?
Oh, more than a year.
14 years.
How long has Max been here?
Yeah, you're almost halfway
Max,
there.
by the way, I mean, that's 6 more years than you're at.
When are you going to make some money?
Well, you'll see. You'll know right away if a person's profitable.
Well, it generally takes a year to make that money back from that new hire.
Exactly.
Well, I mean, somebody who's, again, this show, what we've started with is getting younger people, even if you're not qualified to get into this, to get into the trades. So somebody who wants to come in, how long did you say it takes?
Even if you're not qualified, it takes about a year.
Yeah.
Maybe a year to a year and a half till you can start earning the money back from the training.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, listen, when Philip came in,
just hemorrhaging money.
That is true.
We were sitting there and he came up to me, he goes, I want to learn plumbing. I'm like, out of nowhere. I'm like, all right. So I didn't know if I can afford him or not.
Wrong. I'm going to tell the
Really?
story.
Because he's told me that he never wanted to get into
I never wanted to do it. You know what? Let's do this real quick. Let's do this. Let's take a quick break.
Are you sure you want to take a break before this? I
definitely want to do. I want to recoup. Let's take a quick break, and then we're going to pick it up right here.
Okay.
Because this is exactly what I want to get into.
All right.
The transition because we talked about the transition from grandpa to you.
Jerry. Jerry.
I want to touch base on the transition from you to me, and I want to tell the story. I remember every detail about it.
Let's get into the Quartz family history.
Okay. All right. All right. Well, thanks for joining us, folks. We'll see you.
Oh my God, this place is going to be a mess.
All right, folks, stick with us. We'll be right back.
That's fun.
Call Quartz Plumbing and Heating. Top-rated plumbers in North Jersey for over 60 years. And don't forget to keep treats for Frankie on hand. They'll help to subdue her carnal, animalistic nature.
Guys, welcome back to Plum Bums Podcast, the Blue Collar Tradesman Show, where we talk about small business, entrepreneurship, the Everyman's Podcast, as Max likes to say, the special Thanksgiving episode.
Can you put a turkey like right here? Can you edit a turkey?
Like superimpose a turkey?
Yeah.
I can do whatever you want. I'm talented when it comes to this stuff. We're here with my uncle, Paul Quartz, the guy who I inherited the business from. 7 years ago?
Yeah,
8 years ago?
8, almost going on 9.
How does it feel?
Jeez.
Yeah.
I can't believe it's been that long.
Yeah, it's flying.
Actually, now that I think about it, it feels that long.
Yeah.
But no.
Your beard was not gray when I got here.
It wasn't. No. The beard has absolutely. I will give you that. Okay? But that's the only one you get. That's a freebie.
So we telling Thanksgiving stories?
No, before we went on break.
Somebody's itching to tell Thanksgiving course stories.
Go ahead.
Before we went on break, we were talking about how I came up, and I remember it was your 50th birthday party. I was working at the pool company. I was in like my 8th year over there, 9th year.
Yeah.
And you had that big birthday party at wherever event that was. My whole family was there, and you come up to that's right. It was in Pearl River. And you come up to me, you go, "What the heck are you doing building pools? I got a business with your name on it."
Yeah.
You come in, you learn the business, it's ready for you to go. And to be honest, I never even thought about it.
Yeah.
Because I remember growing up with Grandpa, and he used to take us out, all of us, all the boys, when we turned 10, me, David, Michael, Daniel even, he took out.
Took everybody out.
And I used to go out. I liked going out with Grandpa, but I'm like, I'm never going to be a plumber. Never going to do it.
Telling your father.
Well, yeah. And then I was...
Mr. Soft Hands? He's not gonna like that one.
I'm gonna redeem my dad right now because we talked a lot.
I know. I'm sorry. I know.
I am gonna redeem my father right now.
I'll redeem him. He helped me out a lot.
Yeah.
He was the only. He was my right hand man.
What other brother came in and did that? None of them, right?
No,
yeah.
brother. No,
exactly.
One of
your
how
father
many-
was. He helped me out so many times.
One of how
It's
many brothers
ridiculous.
though?
Five.
Well,
Five
for me,
brothers,
it's four.
2 sisters.
No,
Yeah.
4. Yeah, five boys, 2 girls.
Yeah.
But no, Steve, your father was. Without him, I would have got through a lot of stuff.
Well, he needed the money too.
Yeah,
I remember
that too.
growing up. So
You can take those little underhanded digs.
I grew
He
up the
needed the money. He didn't want to work with you. It was.
No, he did. He was always happy. He's like, "I'll help you out. I'll help you out." Yeah. No, he was always good.
Plus, he was one of the few courses that stuck around in the area. Joe
Yeah.
went out to California.
Yeah. No, he was exactly. But anytime I needed help, even when I had my construction business, he was like, we were up till sometimes overnight, spackling walls, doing sheetrock. Like he would stay with me the whole night and just like, I mean,
I remember we were doing boilers late. Well, that one house overnight, just trying to get it done.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's got to be done. But I remember at your birthday party, your 50th birthday party, 50, you come up to me and you say, "What are you doing building pools?" And I never thought about it. And then it took a year for me to actually make the change. But because I was making a lot of money at the pool place, it was tough to take that step back and learn a whole new industry.
That is.
I mean, at this point, I can't imagine doing anything else. As frustrated as I get, and as many years of my life I shave off every day.
Yeah.
But I'll never forget that. That was the first time that you put it in my mind, and then I came in because we have a
How
huge
long after
family.
that though?
About a year. It took about a year.
Oh, it took a year.
It took about
after
a year
that conversation
because he put that in my head, and then I started talking to my old boss and saying, "Listen, I'm actually thinking of changing industries."
Oh no, you don't.
Yeah. Oh no, you don't. Let me just offer you more money. So he did.
Yeah.
And I stuck it out for a couple more months, and it just wasn't working out. And this is why, when you asked what kept you guys in business for so long, we don't talk about religion and stuff a lot on this podcast, but I'm telling you, God has had his hand in this business from day one. And
Day one. Yeah.
when you look back and you break down certain situations, it's not even a question. Okay. We were supposed to be dead in the waters how many times?
200 times.
Yeah.
Especially with
Last
father.
week.
With last week. Well, maybe tomorrow. I could see the bills.
There's
I have
no
to mention the job earlier today.
2008, I pretty much lost everything. We had homes. My wife and I bought rental properties together. 2008 wiped us out so bad that we had a house, lost 2 rental properties, ended up losing my house. Had to go rent a house to the guy right now who bought my previous home. So
that's
it was all
right.
Yeah. And he's a good friend of mine. So
still, that's humiliating.
So
See,
yeah,
that's the
very
thing
humiliating.
with
So everyone's
Quartz. Everybody's a good friend of Quartz.
Yeah.
Paul is a good friend of
yes, we'll
everybody.
touch base on that. You can't go anywhere around here.
So he ends up buying my. So what happened was 2008. Patty and I were just selling off everything, and we ended up at that point we were in River Edge.
What year did you get married?
2004.
Oh man! So 4 years into the marriage, she's like, "What did I do? What choice did I make?"
No, she was like, listen, I can tell you right now, if she was going to leave me, she would have left me 20 years ago. So she's a great girl.
She had her chance to get out.
She had her chance. She's sticking around now. She has no choice. No, she's been very strong with everything. She's. I can't thank her enough. The stuff, plus the stuff she puts up with me. But yeah, we were a 2008 hit, and it was like. We were sitting there like, well, we got to get rid of this house and get rid of this. And everyone's like, why you tell us story? I'm like, because I'm not embarrassed to buy it. I want people to see that the fact we came back from that.
Yeah.
That we lasted.
We lasted. In fact, we came back from, is my chair hitting this thing? Yeah. We came back
It's
from
like
it.
this.
Oh no, it's hitting my mic. It's like, So we came back from that and we were able to buy another house. We were able to get back on our feet. My daughter's going to college now. It's like, like if you don't watch yourself in that moment where you're
It's
like,
a victory story.
It is. And it's like, and you sit there, you're like, oh, I'm never going to be amount anything. I'm like, and that's why I tell everyone, it's like, just wait till tomorrow because something's going to change. It's going to change.
It's hard to keep that mindset when you're in it, though. Listen, I'm going to be open with our audience right now. I'm an emotional wreck half the time. Okay,
You are. Can vouch.
You are.
Can vouch.
I take because I have expectations of how things should go. I say, like, when I look at the number sheets,
we all do.
I know, but I like, this is, I want this to grow. Like, this is our family business. You know what I mean? And I'm the one that's in charge of it now. There's a lot of pressure that I actually probably assume that most people don't put on me, but I assume it for myself. And I've had every type of job in the book. I've done every type of industry, and here I am now. There's a lot of pressure that I put on myself for it. So I take everything to heart. When it's you say it all the time. You say, what's a slinky effect? It's a roller coaster. Don't worry about it. We're going to get up. We're going to get down. We're going to get down. When we're down, I have a hard time seeing the incline.
Yeah, forest to the trees. Yeah. And listen, and that's the difference of being a great owner and being a person who just does, puts in water valves every day.
Well, I think that's also the experience that you bring to the table that helps kind of calm him, and kind of, I guess, that your experience helps with him seeing that you're moving on the right path.
Yeah. Like, perfect story is so what happened was we used to be in the basement of our house in River Edge, and then everyone moved out of the house, and so I said, I hate being in the basement. Let's take our office to the second floor. So we had all the bedrooms up there. We made them all. It was a great little setup. Yeah. So I had my own office. My mom had her office. My father just floated around, and there was another bedroom there that was turned into like a tech room. And every morning my father would get up, and I would sit at my desk, and I'd be like, Dad, you don't understand. We're going through this stuff. He goes, it'll be all right. Relax. And I'm like, you don't understand. And he started laughing at me. Yeah. And he goes, I go, what are you laughing at? He goes, it'll be all right. Trust me. He goes, I've been through worse, and he goes, you'll understand one day. And it was not one time, it was probably 30 times.
Yeah. Well, you've absorbed his role with me. Like, I've taken your role of freaking out all the time. Like, how are we going to do this?
Oh, yeah. I used to freak out.
And now you laugh at me all the time.
Well, I do,
because it pisses me off so much.
I see what happens. Like,
stop laughing at me.
Well, it's like when we took the first boiler job at the Barneses. You were crying. Yeah.
Okay, listen, I wasn't shedding tears, but I was like, I can't do this. Yeah. I cannot do this.
And what was I doing? I was laughing.
And you were laughing in my face. And I walked out, I had a cigarette, and I'm like, you know what? But where else am I supposed to go?
Well, yeah. I got no place to go.
I'm like Richard Gere in that.
Was that Officer and Gentleman?
Yeah, exactly. I got no place to go.
I got no place to go.
I mean, listen, really, that was the first year it was a culture shock for me.
Yeah, of course.
Because my whole life, we're gonna open up to the audience. What?
We're getting emotional.
No, we're not getting emotional. Okay.
I'm just getting a screen drop down. Like, intermission.
Or when the audio just turns off and the two of you start hugging.
Totally background gets dark. It zooms in slowly.
Let me tell you about my life.
No, it's just been back and listen. I did the math once. I've had 34 different jobs. Maybe even more than that.
Look at experience, yeah, that's a lot of experience.
I mean, just going back and forth, just wavering, literally, like a dead fish in a river sometimes.
Yeah.
And I'm at a point in my life where I'm like, listen, I'm in almost to my mid 40s here. I got to settle on something. So I take the roller coaster, the downs, the declines.
Too commercial.
Very, very, like, we're gonna come out with this, and I pray about this all the time, like. I don't put trust in God when I should be. And Grandpa, and you tell me all the time, Grandpa had no problem doing that.
No, he had no problem. Like I said, he used to laugh at me across the desk. And he was like, "Oh, you gonna cry at me?" I'm like, "You don't understand. I'm trying to build a thing." He's like,
"I raised 7 children."
Exactly. You had 7 children. It's like, no, but and he developed something in my head. He liked the fact that when I took over, he was so happy because he saw the drive I wanted to build a company. Yeah. I wanted to build 20 trucks on the road, stuff like that. But, our business is going to be only as big as we allow it to be. It's there to do it. It's waiting for us to become, let's say we had 20 trucks on the road right now. Do you think we can handle it mentally?
No.
Me?
Yeah.
No.
Do you think I can handle it mentally?
I don't know. I mean,
I don't think so.
I can't handle half a truck on the road.
But I'm saying, if you put 5 trucks on the road, and you shoot that as your goal, 5 trucks doing $350,000 a year.
5 trucks, yes.
Yes.
Yeah, of course.
I do.
Yeah, 5 trucks at $350,000 a year. What is that number? 1.6
You're
million?
asking me to do math
Is
right
it
now.
that much?
Yeah. 3, 6, 9, 12. Okay. A little under.
I mean,
but like it's 1.44 million, whatever it is. Okay. But you do that at a 20% net profit.
Right.
You're putting on your own, you're paying out bonuses, you're paying paychecks, you're putting money in the bank, you're putting, what are you putting away? $80,000, $90,000, $100,000 a year?
For a rainy day.
For a rainy day.
Here's what I think a lot of companies and a lot of plumbers who are especially coming up, and even actually the old timers, because I talk to the old timers, and you know what the old timer I'm talking about. I'm pointing to next door. There's
an old timer?
No, next door. The shop next door.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would consider him an old timer. Well, he has the mentality of an old timer.
He's younger than me.
Not much. He's not. Yeah, he's not much older.
Is he
younger than
55?
you. Yeah, he's around there.
Okay. All right.
There is, for some reason, blue collar guys and tradesmen.
He shouldn't be in his own business. That's why.
There's like, and the public looks at us a certain way, like, oh, you work with your hands, you work with like my sewer line. It's almost like you're lower on the caste system. And I feel that there's actually right now a blue collar revolution, especially since COVID, because we realize that we're not expendable. We're essential and we make the world go round. So I actually, as much as COVID sucked and it like threw a wrench in a lot of small businesses, it woke a lot of people up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because we now realize who makes the world go round. And there is a huge blue collar revolution because we deserve fair pay. We deserve to live in the area where we work. We deserve to be able to comfortably send our kids to college or do this or, take a vacation once a year. But the old, what?
I got to tell you a story on that one.
Hold on, let me finish this one thought. Okay. A lot of the old timers will work and they'll work and they'll work and they'll work and they'll do a toilet valve for $100 and go in and out of it. And it's like, listen, we need to change the mentality through the whole industry and say, we deserve pay that reflects what we do for society.
I think the difference, I think
lose that story.
What you're talking about though is, I think the new generation, starting with you actually, is switching up this mentality of a plumber just being a plumber, just being a good plumber. Right. You have to be not only a good plumber, but a good businessman, which is, I think, the thing that you're trying to change up with the systems that you're putting in place and what your value is. Never lose your value. Yeah.
You can survive as a good plumber and doing the good plumber things, but
you're just surviving.
Yeah, by the way, I wasn't putting him down. I think he's he's good. I just think that, he broke away and he's happy where he is.
Who? Oh, the neighbor?
Max.
Yeah, don't say that. Max. He sees the pod.
Oh, he knows we talk about him all the time.
Okay, good.
I've been trying to get him on.
Yeah, because I like, he's a good man. But going back to that story, as far as like, it's the expectation of a blue collar thought to a white collar thought.
Right.
So I was doing a job bunch of years ago in Ordell, and I'm sitting there and I charge a lady and she's like, my husband doesn't even make that much money. I'm like, what do you mean your husband doesn't make? He's a lawyer. He doesn't charge that much. I go, well, maybe she should change his job.
Yeah.
And she was like, oh, that's so rude. Why are you talking to him? I go, what do you think I do for a living? I go, I'm here to save your house from freezing.
Right.
Mm-hmm. I go, I'm not taking anybody to court. I'm here to save you freezing.
Right.
Do you want heat or no? And I wasn't being a jerk. I was like taken back, like, don't talk to me that way.
Yeah.
But people feel because you're blue collar and you're this, you're that, you're not smart.
Yep.
Some of the smartest guys I know are blue collar guys.
Some of the smartest guys, like you mentioned before, get into blue collar fields without even being a blue collar worker.
Exactly. Yeah.
Because there is good money to be made, and I think those people, the business guys who not necessarily never touched a wrench, but are not really out in the field.
Yeah.
They understand the importance of this work.
Yeah.
I actually want to stay on this topic for a little bit because I think it warrants a lot of discussion. And that I had a hard time adopting my worth as a plumber servicing Bergen County.
Yeah.
I had a hard time. Oh, how do we charge this lady that much? I mean, are you serious? We're going to charge?
Oh,
no,
yeah.
it took me a while. And then I got to a point where,
because you didn't know the numbers. That's why.
well, yeah, that's a huge thing. Not knowing the numbers. Now that we know the numbers to survive. See, the lady who has the whole lawyer husband, he doesn't have the overhead we have.
Well, if he has an office, he does. But office staff, he does.
But I actually did the numbers versus lawyer versus plumber.
Yeah.
He doesn't have the high insurance that we have. He doesn't have the truck, the gas, the truck insurance, the new truck payment. Like,
what did you explain to me? What is it to just turn the key in the truck and start your day?
Yeah.
$100,000.
Yeah.
If you're not bringing
just to turn the key on in the morning, didn't you explain to me it's like almost $150 just to turn the key on in the morning?
Absolutely.
No
like
doubt about
when
when that thing sits there and does nothing, I mean, it would just
and and
people don't see
nowadays if you're going to be a successful plumber and not just a guy who's just getting by, if you're actually going to build your company and have employees that you can trust, that the customer can trust, that are clean, that are engaging the customer, that are going to do a good job for you, you have to pay for that.
Yeah.
You also have to create, which this company does, and I've noticed it over the past few years, what you guys have built up, that value system. So when we show up to somebody's house, and you started it, we show up in nice collared shirts, clean trucks, nice logo. You know, we put booties on in people's homes. If you show up charging, high rates, but you come in and I've seen people do this, rip sweatpants.
Yeah.
A baggy sweatshirt.
But that's not your competition. Your competition really is the franchise companies.
Yes.
But some people
Public
will hire
service
that
is your
baggy
competition,
guy.
But they're easy to beat because they're so big. I explain to people that when you have a company that big, it's like turning a ship.
Yes.
And every move you have to do is so slow. We're smaller. We're like a speedboat. We can come in, come out, make some decisions,
adapt.
move in, cut back if we need to, build if we need to. And that's a huge thing. If you, as a business owner, understand that, and look at it and don't get blown away by this big picture of all my bills. I would hang myself if I looked every day. I'm like, I'm not going to pay this.
Well, that's where I think you get credit for kind of the transition between you and him, and allowing him to do a lot of these outside the box ideas that you may not necessarily be familiar with. Yeah, you weren't so familiar with.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah, it does. It
Let's
probably
talk
does.
about that, actually.
Okay.
I will talk. I have no problem being open and honest with our audience. Okay. You know how the courts are.
Yeah.
We learn the hard way. It doesn't matter who came before us. Like Jesus could come before us and say, "This is how you do it," and they're like, "No, this is not how you do it." We have to learn the hard way. Every single courts,
and not once, 3,000 times.
Yes, exactly.
Did I learn
it's true. And like when I look back, I get frustrated of the lessons that I've learned up to this point, and I say, why didn't I just?
Because it's lazy. And when it comes down, I'm not saying I'm just saying it comes down to laziness, because it takes a lot of strength to think out of the box. It takes a lot of strength to say, you know what, I did this before. Let me try something different. That means you got to go research and you got to go over and figure out what you got to do. To do the same thing over and over, it's not you're dumb. It's just lazy. And I've done that for years. I was like, and I'm like, I got the same results. That's the thing. It's just like, it's going to change if I do it this way. And it's not, listen, right now, what we're doing is we're on track. We're on track. It's just a matter of things hitting the same time.
Well, everyone's in the boat we are right now.
Yeah, exactly.
Everyone's waiting for it to hit.
I mean, you're right now, okay, we got a new president, but their economy is still
it's lingering.
Trillions in debt that is going to still trigger inflation that has to be whittled down somehow. And until that inflation goes away, you're not going to be able to, people like me, like, okay, here I got $1,000.
Right.
You're going to feel more confident buying now, but, we're kind of held back on things, as far as people spending money.
100%.
Yeah.
Because we have, over the past year, I would say 2 years, we have made the transition, not so much we're going to a house, I'm going to be a plumber, we're going to fix this. We're actually making a transition to sales.
Yeah.
And that is a big change. It's almost a culture shock for people around here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because we're implementing new procedures and things that we do in the field that most customers aren't familiar with. We do the flat rate option sheet. Yep. We give you 6 options. And I tell people all the time, I say, listen, I'm coming in here And I'm doing this option sheet for you, and I'm giving you options on what you want to do for your home because I know that you don't want to see me for years.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to see a plumber. So that's what we're building our business on. We're going to take care of all this stuff in one shot. You're going to be covered for years, and you don't have to worry about. It's not like PSE&G's worry-free where they cover this, but they don't cover that, and they will maybe touch this part, but they don't touch that part. We're coming in there, we're saying, listen, here's a flat rate to take care of everything I see. You don't have to see me for years. You're covered, and if you have a problem within that warranty period, you don't have to worry about anything. And it's a transition period with a lot of people around here because they're not accustomed to that.
Well, plus, you as an owner, you're confident in that. A lot of people don't want to take that step. As other owners are like, I'm fine, just charge what I am here.
Yes.
And it's a big step to do changes like that. To go from your basic drive around in one truck or a box truck and have your truck loaded up with stuff and all of a sudden go in a house and the lady's like, can you just fix my flapper? Yeah. Well, I'm not doing you justice by just fixing that because I'll be back next week. We're going to take care of you right now. Mm-hmm. And I guess what? After that, you're going to keep coming back because we took care of you the first time.
Right.
And that comes to quality.
No, I was going to say I think it's that mixture of your experience with his like new era type of blue collar tradesman business owning.
Yeah.
You've seen it all. You know what works and what doesn't work, but you're still willing to let the new things.
You've given me a lot of play.
Well, you have to, because if you don't, you won't learn. Now, it's a dumb thing. And I think Mike Conroy, who owns Numbers Cruncher, said the worst thing. He goes, don't let somebody build a business off your credit. And
what do you mean by that?
Well, he said, because he knows about you, he goes, don't let your nephew make mistakes. That's going to cost you money. And
too late about that.
No, but
let's go.
I said, go. No, but I understand what he was saying. We're not there. We're not there. Well, sometimes we are, but I'm saying it's like, but we're not. If you were sitting there and bleeding us every day and saying, and I look at the books, I'm like, oh, we just can't pay this bill. It's not that. I know the threshold of this business. I know at what point we can say yes or no. This is not like a private school district or a public school district where they get tons of money, taxpayer money, boom, 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 you're loading up.
Yep.
We gotta go hunt every day for us to eat. Mm-hmm. That's it. And if you look at the numbers for the past 5 years, because of the economy the way it was, we pretty much stayed even.
Right.
Which is a plus. There's companies right now that are not here anymore. I look at the numbers all the time. When we look at the end of the year numbers, we're pretty much even. If we did the same we did last year at this point, we're fine with that. People are like, well, you should be growing. This is not a growth economy.
Exactly.
$120,000 were projected in October for jobs. There was 12,000 jobs created. The government.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Where'd you hear that?
I'm sorry. Let me take it back. It was 120,000, 120 million. I'm not sure. Out of that number, the government said we're going to create 120 in October. These are the numbers I follow. We ended up creating 12 million or 12,000. One of the two. I'm not sure.
So way
fake
under.
News.
We're so way under with jobs that you can't turn around and say people like there's not other plumbers out there hiring right now because they're not ready for the economy. Right now is really stalled.
Yeah.
But because of the people telling you, you're fine. I just went to the grocery store today. Now I measure my food within 2 barrels or buckets, and I bring them in because everyone's bringing bags. I hate bags.
Right.
So I put them in. It's $325.
It's insane.
Weekly. I used to pay that same stuff for $175.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
$175.
Yeah.
And it's like, everyone's like, oh, it's the same. Really? Go get gas. $325. Well, it's going down. Well, it's going down because it's politically sometimes. But
right.
But
well, before any presidential election, gas goes down.
Of course it does. Yeah.
It always does. It doesn't matter who's running.
Yeah.
And just to make this clear, we have Trump's book on our case. We have Hillary's book. We have Obama's book. So try to figure out where we're coming from. Okay. You can't. But I will say this. Okay. No matter what you think about the guy, when he got elected in 2016, the day he got elected, it was like the floodgates open.
We're going to win so big.
Yes.
We're going to win.
We're going to be tired of winning.
Keep winning.
And I'm not even advocating for the guy right now. I'm just telling you facts. Like I remember the day he got the day he was announced as president, like the floodgates open. Now we're at a point where people have been through 3.5-4 years of just regression.
Yeah.
So there may be a turning point.
No, you see it right now. There's a lot of stuff that's already changing on the horizon. There's a lot of stuff that's coming our way. And again, I'm not making this political. I'm just saying, let's talk about real facts. You know, and you're right. When he got elected again, and if you voted for Harris, we don't give a crap. Mm-hmm. There is a change already, and people were exhausted. They were beat up. And they're like, okay, let's just try something different.
Right.
If it goes wrong, we'll go back to the old school.
Well, I think the focus of this particular topic should be, it doesn't matter. Politics does affect business for sure, but it shouldn't matter who's in office for you to run your business correctly. And I think that's what we've done for the past 7 years that I've been here.
You have to know how to adapt.
There's good times, there's bad times. Doesn't matter who, what, when, where, why. You've dealt with 08. You've survived.
Yeah.
We've dealt with COVID, done better. It's about surviving.
Yeah.
And then in the good times, thriving. But you have to be able to run your business.
I'm telling you, 08 was something that we never saw.
Yeah.
Like
nobody did.
And
you said, just to interject, when you did the first audio episode, you said 2008 happened, and it was like the light switch got clicked off.
Oh yeah, it was shut
for
off
everybody.
For everybody.
It doesn't matter what industry you're in.
It was done.
The super wealthy, they'll always be fine.
They made.
But
the money.
even like the mediocre wealthy, the upper class, like it hit everybody.
Oh yeah,
there was nothing you can do.
Yeah,
it
was horrible. But again, look what happened. We're still here. I mean, we bought another truck. We bought another truck. You know, it's like we're expanding. We're looking to bring people on now.
We got a lot of compliments on that truck, actually.
Yeah, it's a beautiful truck.
We got a lot of compliments, and I love working out of that truck.
Yeah, listen. Found that. Did you find that, or did I find it? Or you
found it?
Oh, you found it.
Max found it.
Yeah.
Did you find that?
I did.
Yeah, Max found that truck.
What was that in Pennsylvania? We drove up, and I'm like, this thing's big.
It was big.
I go, are we looking at the right truck? Because this thing's really high.
It was.
He goes, oh no, that's a truck.
We couldn't find anything in between.
Yeah,
There's nothing. Hackney's not making anything right now. Actually, you know what?
It takes a year.
Yeah, it takes a year.
Well, this was also right. COVID changed a lot of things.
It was at the bad point.
And then I went to Westwood and saw their old Ryder trucks.
Yeah.
And they were, you got the one with the big thing on top, which is the grandma's attic, and then you have the smaller ones that
if we have to go that route, we probably could make that work, to be honest. But here's the thing: you got to paint the whole thing white. I'm not writing.
No, they're
around.
white. They paint them.
Oh, they are white.
Yeah, they take all the names off them. And they're white now.
Well, listen, we're interviewing people right now. We may actually pick up another guy, so we may be in the market of another truck, which is huge.
10 grand, 80,000 miles.
10 grand.
Yeah,
that's it.
12 grand for 80. Yeah, but these trucks have 80, 90,000 highway miles.
That's nothing.
Yeah.
These things last. Do these things last forever?
What, these?
He's the car
the box
guy.
trucks?
Yeah.
No, the Ryder trucks that they sell, the moving trucks that they'll sell.
If you get 10
Depends
years.
what engine. It depends what brand.
True. But if you get 5 or 7 years out of that truck for 10,000 or for 12,000, it's worth it.
Well,
Absolutely.
I told you
can pay it
about
off in
this
a
truck.
year.
Why I said this truck instead of the other one that we have is because it's a tried and true engine and transmission type truck. They'll last forever. It had super low miles.
Yeah.
But
dude, I will never go transit again. Quartz is done with transit.
Yeah.
Really?
Oh, I hate it. I hate it.
They look cool.
They look great.
They look cool.
They look great.
But they're useless.
They're just to work out of it. There's no storage. There's the box truck is the way to go.
Yeah.
It's a rolling shop.
No, I agree
you
with
roll up. You're ready to go. You have the table that pulls out. You can. We're done with transit. I'm making the executive decision.
Well, especially with like the new truck, I think, and the newer trucks in general, is that everybody wants fancy. They want the new tech. They want, Bluetooth. They want, power windows. When I told you about that truck, I said it's got roll-up windows.
Yeah.
And I remember you guys were like, are you sure you want roll-up windows? I said, it's one less thing, one less problem that you even have to deal with.
Listen, if you drive to the Hackensack River, the power is going to go out. You can roll it down.
Everything
swim
is,
out.
Everything is simple. Simplicity
Which we thought
key.
about, actually.
Yeah.
Well, what if we drive to the ocean and we're in the water?
That thing would probably float with all the air in the
I
top
love that truck. I tell you one thing, it hits every tree branch going down like the side streets.
I don't want to hear that.
But you know what? It it's durable. It can take it. That's what I'm saying. Like I get out.
I'm hitting every tree branch and it's taking it.
We were driving down today. We had to do a job together today. And I'm driving down, and it felt like we were under attack from Hamas. And I get out, I park the truck. I'm like, holy crap! And I look, and there's nothing. I'm like, holy, this truck is like.
Yeah.
All right. All right. Next question.
You know what? Let's do this. We're at the long mark again. We're going to take one more break. All right. We'll come back with you guys. Before we go to break, I do want to say this one thing. The next several episodes are sponsored by a phenomenal contractor we have. You guys heard him. He was on this episode last week, Jigsaw PMR, jigsawpmr.com. They are our remediation company, mold, fire, water, and why do I always lose the fourth one? Mold, fire, water. What is the fourth one? You're always the one that clues me in. They do everything. All right. This guy is the most responsive contractor we have. Jigsaw PMR is great. Flooding? He's our remediation guy.
Okay, yeah.
You've met him.
No, I know that. Yeah.
Great guy.
Who are we talking about?
I'm just
Jigsaw.
I know. I'm just kidding.
I'm just trying to think of the fourth one. The fourth is the
flood, water, fire.
You cannot
mold.
air this. The way you're butchering.
Whatever.
The way you're butchering his business.
Adam doesn't care.
I was going to say
he'll
that.
deal with asbestos.
Yeah.
He will show up to you if you guys have any issue in your house, leak behind the shower wall, toilet leaking at the flange going into the floor. He'll show up with the tools. He has every high-tech device to make sure that your house is completely rid of any dangerous mold, any damage and stuff like that. Check them out, jigsawpmr.com.
Very organized.
Very organized.
Very clean, very organized.
Dude,
Unlike this introduction to Jigsaw.
You don't mind.
You don't mind.
Check them out online and also follow their social media journey on Instagram and Facebook. He's got a great social media guy. But folks, stick with us. We'll be right back.
Call Quartz Plumbing and Heating. Top-rated plumbers in North Jersey for over 60 years. And don't forget to keep treats for Frankie on hand. They'll help to subdue her carnal, animalistic nature.
Jigsaw PMR Property Maintenance Restoration in Oradell, New Jersey. Ready to tackle the toughest disasters affecting your home or business. With state-of-the-art equipment and years of experience, our responsive staff will get you back home quicker than anyone else. Check us out at jigsawpmr.com and follow our cleanup journey on Instagram and Facebook. Give us a call at 201-425-4855. Jigsaw PMR, restoring peace of mind.
Don't say goodbye.
Welcome back to a special Thanksgiving episode of Plum Bums Podcast, the blue collar tradesman show where we talk about small business and entrepreneurship in these crazy times of 2024. The Everyman's Podcast, and it really has become that. The Everyman's
I feel like we
Podcast.
need to get you a clipboard.
What?
I don't know. It just feels a little bit unprofessional to just
Really?
have yourself a piece
You
of
don't
paper
think
there.
a clipboard would be too intrusive on the camera?
No, it makes you look legit.
Gutfeld does it.
Like who?
Gutfeld does it.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah,
Fox.
true. That's a good point.
He's got 1,000 papers out. He's like,
Folks, thanks for joining us again. We want to remind you that this show is sponsored by Jigsaw PMR. JigsawPMR.com are your local out of Oradell cleanup company for mold remediation, flood, fire, all that stuff. Check them out. But we also want to extend the invite for anyone who's in a special industry, anyone who owns a business locally to the Bergen County area. We are always looking for people to come on the show that are in some kind of strange industry, interesting industry, or if you're a small business owner or entrepreneur, we'd love to have you guys on the show. If you're interested, you're going to go to Cordtsplumbing.com. You're going to click the podcast link up at the top right corner and go down and fill out Be a Guest application.
Right here. You'll press it right here. You're going to put it right here.
I think I can make that work.
All right.
And we'll get it in post.
Make it work.
No, folks, any type of industry, any local business owner, we'll have you on. It's a lot of fun. We'll push your business. So if you're interested, fill out that application and we'll get you on. It's a ton of fun. It's very relaxed. and you basically have a 2-hour commercial to just plug your business. But all right, so where did we leave off here? Unky Paul. Yeah, hey, say hi to Courtsy, man. Don't forget to say hi to all.
How's Paul doing?
We can't drive down the road, even still. It's been 8 years. We can't drive down the road without someone like honking, waving.
Anywhere we go, into somebody's house.
We go.
Is Paul?
Is
Paul still with you guys? I don't see him
listen,
he died in a car accident last year.
That's what I said.
He's not with us anymore.
He died and gave me the business. It's mine now.
Oh, you can hear?
He's just taxidermy, so we can use his license number.
He's in my office.
Oh my gosh, that is so funny.
That course humor.
We still have him with us.
He's a carpet in the living room right in front of the fireplace.
Stretched out.
Oh my God.
No, everywhere we go, you cannot avoid it. Hey, Courtsy. Oh, say hi to Courtsy. And you know what I find? I listen to Nikki's friends come in and call him the same thing.
Oh, yeah.
It's so funny.
Yeah, tradition. Well, listen, they were calling your aunts and uncles that in high school. That was our name in high school. It wasn't anything but Quartz. Yeah. No one went by the first name.
So we have a massive family.
Yeah.
Our family's huge.
Pretty big.
Most of them, when I was growing up, they all lived in this area. So Christmas, Thanksgiving was just a packed house, just beyond packed, just people pouring out the door. And on top of our massive family, Grandma and Grandpa used to always invite like vagabonds in.
Yeah.
So it was just constant people in and out. I never thought that I would be the one to step up and like take over the business. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But, and not to get like mushy or anything, but there's,
I love you, Dad.
no, don't. That's just great. I never thought that like that I would be the one. So for those of you who don't know, in the Quartz family, there's like 16 grandchildren and then a countless great grandchildren. I'm the firstborn. Grandchild,
which I believe that in the next couple of years, I think a lot of them will start coming to the business,
which I would love.
Yeah.
I mean, we have a lot of young guys in our family that they need to. They even have the personality, you know.
Yeah.
But there has been definitely when.
Hold on a second. This microphone's falling off.
All right, folks, bear with us here.
1 second. It's falling off. Okay, there it goes. Good. Okay. Oop.
Is that still?
We'd like to talk about the transition from old school to new school.
Good.
Yeah, just get your shit in order for.
Sorry, it's falling off. All right, we're good. Go ahead.
Listen, is that still falling? Because it looks like it is. All right.
Yeah, it's
I tell everyone who comes on the podcast, this is all fake.
Yeah,
this is all fake. I'm hovering in like a squat position so I don't put weight on this chair right now. But out of the whole family, you know, I was the one that came up and took over the business and stuff. And there's. I don't even know where I'm going with this.
Well, the thing is that I thought I would have other people take over the company, or I just thought once I die, you know, then the business is over. And the fact that you came in,
you were the last resort. Let's be honest. He tried to sell it several times, and
Philip, listen,
his last ditch effort.
When you work for me,
he was drinking one night, and he was like, "You know what?
My business."
He's like John
Yes,
where he turns in, he's like the devil
Come
horns.
work for me. The nightmare you'll run to.
That's a great Thanksgiving movie.
Oh, yeah,
that's Planes, Trains. Have you ever seen Planes, Trains, and Automobiles?
Yeah.
That is
all right. So the Thanksgiving story I want to get out the whole night was
get that out.
Senior football at Riverdale. Our last game, we're playing Demers. So the parents had to come out and walk us out to the 50-yard line. So at the end zone. So as my mom and dad came down, we walked us out. I think it was 30 seconds, and my parents were in the car going home. Like, they didn't stay for the game. Like, they're like,
but they showed up for 30 seconds and then left?
Yeah, no, they walked me out to the center of the field, and it's like, yeah, we got to go home because mom's got to cook and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, okay, so I played. Actually, they probably stayed for the first quarter. But after that, they were gone. They had to go home and cook. And, like, sports back then was not as it is today. Like you can miss 10 minutes of a practice of a kid, you're a bad parent.
Yeah.
So I was like, whatever, I don't care if you show. What bothered me was when I got home, everybody was around the table and they started eating turkey. They started their Thanksgiving dinner before me. I'm like, I walked in, I go, wait, you guys started without me? I'm like, I was at a football game where you guys should have been at. And it's like, all my brothers says like, shut up, sit down. And they were yelling at me like, shut up. My father like threw me a plate. It's like, eat up. I was like sitting there.
Oh,
look
at the football player coming joining us.
Oh, was it your day? Was it Thanksgiving Day? But
oh my gosh, that is so funny. We touched base on like when you did the audio episode.
Yeah.
Everyone when I was growing up, everyone did live close by.
Yeah.
And our family's huge, but everyone was here growing up.
Yeah. Those Primus.
Yes. Those memories will never fade for me.
Yeah.
Never. And even Uncle Mike used to drive up his kids, and his 4 kids would come up and they would spend Christmas and Thanksgiving. And there's like a nostalgia that I definitely miss of that.
Well, and there was a New Milford.
Yeah.
She was still around.
Well, everyone was around.
Yeah, everyone was around.
Everyone was around. You know what I mean? So
you and I are the last people in New Jersey.
I know.
Yeah.
We really are like the last ones hanging out.
Yeah.
I don't know how much longer we could, but
New Jersey's not doing a good enough job at keeping Cordts.
No.
We'll be here for a while.
Yeah. But there's nothing like growing up in a huge family. And we've had our problems over the years. The Cordts family.
Oh, we've had our problems.
Listen, we've had the huge family. We have fights. We have arguments. People take sides. We do this, but I wouldn't trade it for anything.
No, because that made you grow. Like kids today don't experience what we have because they're constantly on their phones. They don't see what's going on in the real world.
No.
Like we grew up, like I think the first time I ever got a phone was in like the late 90s or middle 90s.
What, a cell phone?
Yeah, it was like a flip phone.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, there was no, it was, you can call your friend from like the bar. You're like, hey, I'm at the bar. Yeah, it's like, why don't you come by? Like we would, when we were younger growing up, like we would just have an idea where people were.
Right.
And then we would just show up over there and they were there.
Yeah.
You know, so it was like was that telecommunication?
Yeah.
It was like, I think my friends are at this house.
Yep.
We show up and everyone would be there. Or you make one phone call to one person and we get out.
Yeah.
You know, but yeah, today I feel bad.
It's a totally different world.
It's a sense of community, a local aspect.
Yeah.
That's what also I think makes River Edge different from a lot of towns still. Because like in this town I still see kids riding bikes around. And it's something you don't see that often anywhere.
Yeah.
You know, River Edge is that small town type.
I tell people all the time, I'm from a big family. We're dysfunctional. We have a history. We have a lot of problems in and out, but that's where we all developed our sense of humor, our like attitude, our quick wit. And we talked about this on an episode pretty close to when we went, because Max is basically part of the family now. So we talked about it on an episode close to when we did the Cousins family reunion. And we're all spread around the country right now.
The one that we couldn't air because everybody was just going, we gave the mic to all of the Cordtses. And it was just out of control.
So once a year, I kind of took the reins on this, but we have a ton of cousins in the family. We're all over the country now, so I try to do once a year family reunion. And we've been apart from each other for years, but it's so funny when we all get together. Like there's such similarities.
Yep.
Like there's just like this quartz thread that passes through our family. It doesn't matter where you grew up or whatever.
Yep.
It's so funny to me. You know what I mean? And I love that about the huge family. You have a huge family. Every holiday.
I mean, you have
a huge adopted family.
Yeah.
Max has a huge adopted family. There's an aspect of that where it teaches you sass, humor, how to come back quick, how to basically survive with your words. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And I wouldn't trade that for the world. As dysfunctional as we are.
I think that does very well for business too.
Well, it does because, growing up in our house, with 7 kids, it's like my father would come home as a plumber. My mom be like, you gotta watch because when your father gets home, we're like, nah, whatever. It's like all of a sudden you hear my father's truck pulling the driveway. Everyone's like,
everyone's scattered.
Everyone was hiding in their beds. And my father would walk in and it was like a church. It was like quiet, like no one was around,
spotless.
And my mom be like in the corner like this. It's like, and all of a sudden, if he was mad, he wouldn't have to do anything. He would just walk up the stairs. Boom.
You could tell by his footsteps.
Oh yeah. It was they were size 14. Boom, 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 and they were slow. Like it wasn't like boom, 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 boom. It was like
right.
boom, boom. So
he's walking up the stairs with a
every step
purpose.
he took, it's like
Every
you're
step.
like, you were like, oh no! It was like it was waiting for Frankenstein to walk through your room, and the belt was off because you heard a jingling.
Right.
You heard the jingling. It was like a what was it? It was like a guard like coming down with the keys, and it was like he was going to beat you with that, and
You
next
threw
thing I
your
know-
brother in front of you just so it wasn't
Oh, my
you.
brother Pete. I was like, okay,
Go say hi to Dad.
it was, but that was us growing up, so it made us tough.
Listen, exactly. That builds character.
Yeah. There's not that happening. You touch a kid today, you're like,
Exactly.
you're
yeah.
going to jail.
We have I'm on social media, but it's all for the business. So I scroll through social media and I see this stuff and this whole thing about gentle parenting and stuff.
Doesn't
and it's
work.
just like, are you?
Doesn't work.
Listen, I'm going to tell you, it does not work. You raise your children grow up to be scumbags. Let's put that out there right now.
I don't think they grow up to be that.
No, they do.
They don't. I don't think they grow up to be that. I just think that the parents today, because of what's happened in the world today, they're forced to treat their kid that way. Yeah. And they, the older parents that are in their, or younger parents that are in their 30s, they never lived I would go out at 8 o'clock in the morning and wouldn't come home till 9 o'clock at night. And my parents had no idea where it was.
Yeah.
I told Nikki had to go get a haircut tonight on the other side of town, and it was dark. And I'm like, don't take your bicycle. You're going to hit by somebody. I was like, what happened to me? But it's like the different mentality that's happening. So I just called him. He's like, he's home. I'm like, how'd you get home? He goes, I walked. I'm like, okay, good.
What would your dad say? What would your dad say if you asked him to take you? If you asked him to take you for a haircut across town?
I walk to Riverdale every day.
Yeah.
Every day, I have to get up and drive my kids, or my son now, because Abby's in college. I have to drive them every day to school. And there's a Congo line of cars to get in there. You can't even get in the park.
It's a nightmare there.
You can't even get in there. And I drive away. I'm like, okay, I got sucked into it. And everyone's sucked into it. You can't get away from it.
Do you think that mentality is what's making it difficult to find good younger guys in the field?
Yeah, because in high school, we were on our own. Mm-hmm. Like we were in high school, we were like, we went out and bought our own cars. We went out and did our own thing. Our girlfriends. Our parents never saw our girlfriends. Our parents never came to anything. Yeah. It was like,
what am I, 21 years younger than you?
Yeah.
And it was basically the same thing with my generation, pretty much up until like 2002.
Yeah.
There was a steady consistency of that. And now it's just totally different.
Yeah. My father came to 2 of my wrestling matches, and one I won. Well, not that I won it, but we won that day. We won the match.
You wrestled? I didn't know you wrestled.
Yeah. 188.
Really?
Everyone says, you wrestle? I'm like,
I had no idea.
Yeah. I wrestled Riverdale I started out with, it was me, Jim Burns, Joe Bava.
That's a great sport.
Wait, you said one won and one, what was the other one?
What was that?
You won one and the other one you lost?
No, actually so what happened was that I went to a private school for 1 year.
Where?
Up in Ramsey.
How did I not know this?
It was Grace Baptist had a school for 1 year.
Oh, yeah.
This ACE that my parents said you got to go to. So I was frustrated. No sports. Your Uncle Mike worked. He was one of our teachers. So
was he really?
Yeah. So he started a soccer team for us.
Oh, my God.
And it was great because that's the only sport I got. It was soccer team, basketball. So we play other Christian academies. And then one day we decided to play like a public high school, and we're like
obliterated.
It was like, why am I here? So I was the only athlete on the team trying to have other athletes. There was a couple guys that were good, so I was very frustrated because I was like, I should be in high school playing there. So that 1 year I was away, I came back to Riverdale, and the coach is like, you're never going to touch a football field again. I was playing the first game, because I'm like, yeah, well, you're not going to tell me what I'm going to do.
Right.
And then the basketball coach, he goes, well, why don't you come out and play basketball? He goes, you're 6, whatever. And I'm like, all right. I lasted 3 weeks because I couldn't stand the guys in the team. And I go, there's a position open in wrestling. Let me go back to wrestling because that's what I did. And that I was wrestling because that's where all my friends were. So, yeah, I wrestled. I won, I think it was 6, 7 matches. That's, or we had 12 matches. So
Max played professional soccer. Did you know that?
Yeah, you told me. Yeah, a couple times.
Yeah, it's not all it's cracked up to be.
But
no,
still,
I mean,
it's something like that's
Listen, I tried out for the New Jersey Bears for football. It was like, it's not all cracked up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not, but it's
You got to buy your own helmet and shoulder pads. And stuff.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think I'm going to do this anymore.
I
You like
think,
the Sandlot
I think
rule?
what sports do. I think what sports do is, I'm not anti-sports. I'm very pro-sports for younger people.
Yeah.
For kids, it keeps you out of trouble.
Yep.
It builds character. It teaches you a lot of lessons. But I think at a certain age, kind of like how we were talking to your cousin, Mason.
Mason.
Yeah, we were talking to Mason. It builds a lot of character. It gives a lot of good values. But I think that nowadays, a lot of young people look up to athletes as almost gods.
Yes. Yeah.
And
It's horrible.
everybody thinks that they can get there, and you don't understand. It doesn't even matter how good you are. You have to get so lucky.
Yeah.
I mean, if you look at the NFL, it's the 1% of the 1% that make it there.
Even
Like,
worse than that. The
it's
stats are worse than that.
Yeah.
So there's a friend of mine, George McGovern. He was a chaplain for the Yankees, the Giants, very good friend of mine. So he took me to Giants training camp. So he allowed me to come into the building. Now, if you get into that building, that means you're supposed to be there.
Mm-hmm.
So back then, the Giants just a year after they won the Super Bowl. So I'm sitting there, and there was a big meeting. It was called chapel. So there's a big meeting inside the meeting room. So I'm sitting there, and Justin Tuck was leading the chapel. Now, Justin Tuck was a defensive end for the
course,
Giants.
yeah.
Unbelievable. So sitting next to me was Eli Manning.
Shut up.
Next to me. And he's like, "Hey, what are you doing here?" I was like, I'm with George. Oh, I love George. He's unbelievable." And then, and he gets up, and all of a sudden he goes, "You want to help me pass out these pamphlets every?" I'm like, "Yeah." So I'm passing out these. I knew all the players, but being that I was in there with George McGovern, it was like, you're supposed to be there.
Yeah.
And then Coach Coughlin comes up and he's like, "Do I know you?" I'm like,
Shut up. Are you serious?
Oh yeah. This is some of the experience I
How
had.
long ago was this?
Probably. Listen, Eli's how many years out? Well, it's got to be 9 years. 9 years ago.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Oh yeah, so I'm
That's so
sitting.
cool.
I'm sitting there, and I'm like, with all these guys. But the funniest thing was with Eli Manning. He's sitting there. He goes, "Can you help me pass this stuff out?" I go, "You're Eli Manning." I go, like,
you're supposed to be throwing them from the back
if I
row.
called him today, he wouldn't even remember me.
Yeah.
Like I was like, I remember him more than he remembers me.
Yeah.
But all the best players were there, and it was like, but they were like, "Oh, George? Yeah, we're George," and they were shaking my hands, like, "Thanks for coming." One guy hugged me. I'm like, "Okay,
That's so cool.
yeah." So it was a funny thing, but what was the story about the experience?
I think what we're getting at is that, especially in this field, I think the athletics holds a lot of water to bringing it over into this field, and I think a lot of younger guys that are good athletes but not the best of the best, I do think that they're one of their better routes is to end up here, and I think they take a lot of that athletics this way, because I'm not saying that people who are athletic are not college material, but I think that they're driven in different ways.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
And I think that the trades are a good field for athletes
and if you
get into.
Exactly, you're right. If you teach them how to do it, and I told somebody one day, I said, you can teach anybody how to do plumbing.
Right.
Teach anybody. And like, what do you mean? I'm like, I go, well, I don't know how to use my hands. You can teach anybody how to do plumbing. Teach anybody. That's what I'm saying. If you come to me totally green, within a year, you're going to know what you're doing.
I prefer to hire someone green.
Yeah.
Because you can mold them.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you can mold them. They're most likely a more younger person.
You build good habits.
Exactly. Yeah. I prefer a more green person. Like when you first came in, let's talk about hiring.
God.
Show's falling apart.
Oh my God.
Let's talk about bringing in Max, because honestly, when we brought in Max, I wasn't fully confident that we could handle that.
No,
I was doing it
because you said he's a buddy of mine. Let's train him. I'm like, good, let's do it.
I was a year in. You had left pretty quickly and kind of threw me to the wolves. You still coached me on the phone, but I was a year in, a little over a year, and it got to the point where we were actually kind of growing a little bit.
This is Philip.
I remember.
What should I do?
I remember when you told me, like, the day you decided to actually keep me. I remember what you said.
I love you, man.
No. One day, because I guess you had hired people before. I guess you'd worked with other people before or something.
Yeah.
But you said when you left the back truck door open.
Yes.
He left the back truck door open, and we were driving on Kinderkamak, and
no, there was a pipe rolling around in the back of the truck, and it was his first day. There was a pipe. There was like a steel, like maybe like a 36-inch steel pipe rolling around in the back of the truck. We pulled up to a light. He gets out of the truck his first day, opens the back, and he puts it in so it won't roll around. And I go, oh my God.
This is the guy you want.
This is what you want. It blew my mind because I've had to interview and hire guys at the pool company that I was at before, and even just that initiative.
Well, it's attention to detail,
right?
And that's what I tell him all the time. It's like unless you're attentive to detail, I tell the guys I work with right now, attentive to detail. Nobody understands that because it's such a foreign word.
Yeah.
Like attention to detail. And they're like, what does that mean? It's like whatever you do, make sure you understand what you're doing, because if you don't, you have to repeat it 30, 40 times.
I think it's also the willingness to work and to learn, which I think kind of goes to what you're doing now.
Yeah.
Because you kind of switched, I don't want to say you switched fields, but
I completely switched fields.
You did,
okay.
Which I want to get into in 1 second when he's done.
Yeah, you switched fields, but you took the work ethic that you have and you just applied it someplace else. So you can do anything as long as you have a good work ethic.
What was... Are you done? Sorry. Yeah. Okay. What was the transference? Because you did completely switch fields. What the field you're in now? You're a you're a local government.
I'm a director of buildings and grounds for a public school.
Yeah.
So
how did you take what you knew here and and transfer that to a whole new industry?
Well, the first job, a buddy of mine was a principal of the high school, and he goes, "Listen, I know you run your own company, but this might be a position you might want to take. It's in the public sector. It's good money. It's this, that, and the other thing." I go, and I'm like, well, I have a company. And that was a time I'm like, listen, either I give Philip the chance to do this, or I'm going to be here for the next 20 years. And I said, I was like, all right, God, let's go. What do you got? It's like, I'm going to throw the ball out there, see what happens. Same thing my father did to me. Yeah. He was done. I'm like, good, go. If it floated and if it made it, it made it. I was already, I already landed on the beach. I'm like, okay, I'm good. If it makes it, it makes it. We'll just pay it off in the next couple of years and I'm done. Right. And it wasn't that lackluster, but I was like, he was at a time where he needed to do his own thing. Mm-hmm. Philip is the type of guy that if you hover over him too much, he's not going to grow. If you let him, if you give him a chance to grow, he'll grow. The opportunity came at the right time, and I was thrown into a world that I didn't even know about.
Yeah.
It was unions. It was you have to follow this rule.
Right.
I had people telling me you can't do this. I'm like, okay.
Which I got to be honest, I don't know how you made that change.
Well, it was because I didn't listen to anybody, and I said, the one guy who hired me, he goes, "This is not like the private sector. It's a different world." I go, "Yeah, but my mindset is about pushing people up, making people successful. So if I take the guys who are working with me, and I make them become me, and I want them to get my job. And you understand, anything you do, you want that person to replace you.
Yes.
Because if you don't, you're dead in the water.
Yes.
If you sit there like, I'm the best of the best, great, that's great. But look at any sport, football players, NASCAR, anything like that. They have to have somebody else come up through the line to replace them. So anybody I train, I said, I want them to know everything I know. Because if they do, I'm going to not live forever. But I want success to happen to this district.
Yeah.
So I treated everybody, and it was back to the basic skills. I was blessed because I know a lot about construction. I know about plumbing. I studied a lot about it. So my knowledge on that was good. But even was better that when I went to visit businesses as a private company, I would learn from other owners that were good owners. And they were like, give that guy a chance, give him a chance, give him a chance. Yep. So it was about giving people a chance. So I just took that talent, whatever I had here, and I brought it over to the public sector.
You can sense when someone deserves or is worth taking a risk on.
Yeah, there's no doubt. Yeah, there's no
right
doubt.
away. You know, if you have to kind of evaluate it and say, all right, well, we'll bring you in for a couple of days, and you don't know, like, you will immediately know when that person has potential.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And what sucks is that's hard to find nowadays.
Well, it's not that. You have the patience to wait for it.
Actually, yeah.
Patience to wait for it.
Patience to wait for it, because, you don't make, and I keep bringing it back to sports, is you don't make every team's not making every play 100% of the time.
Yeah.
It's that one little, he caught that pass to win the game by 3 or 7, whatever. It's those little explosions that happen.
The willingness to do the work and the willingness to fail and the willingness to even like what you did. You told me like you didn't know much about going into the public sector, but you're willing to take that jump and to take that leap. And with all the experience that you learned, which young guys should look at, all the experience that you learn in the trades.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter, even if you don't stay in the trades, it will take you so many other places.
Somewhere.
Well, my thing was, what's the worst thing that happened to me? I'll go back to being a plumber.
Right.
And it's not because I don't give a crap, but it's like, but I'm going to give these guys such a better value than what they have now. Because I know people in that industry, they're horrible because they hire within.
Yeah.
So you have a guy, it's like hiring a plumber who worked for years, and now you want him to run your company. I go, that's a horrible recipe for success. I don't care if you're in a nonprofit organization or anything like that. You got to bring somebody from the outside who has some great ideas. I'm going to build it on this. And you have to, the people that are given to you, you have to deal with them and say, what can I do? Let me find little pieces of things I can find out that's going to make them successful to help me out.
Right.
And make them great. So we went to this job. So I switched districts, and I found out that the guys who work for me directly now, everybody was doing everything. So it was like a hornet's nest. So this guy was doing, the grounds guy was doing railings.
There's just too many cooks in the kitchen.
No. It was, everybody was doing everything. It's like, okay, Philip, make pancakes today. You make eggs. And then
Jack
tomorrow
of all
morning you make
trades,
eggs.
master of none.
I go, stop. So I took everyone individually. I said, what do you do? And one guy's like, oh, I cut lawns. I go, so why are you inside fixing a locker? Well, that's what we do. I'm like, no. You're going to do nothing but grounds.
Yeah.
Who does that with you? This guy does. You two are my grounds guys. Don't come inside for anything. Come for a glass of water. That's it. That's all you do.
You may have water. You may have water, but you must ask first.
Knock on the door, loud. No, and they're the happiest guys in the world. And I took 2 other guys. I said, "What do you do?" And they're like, "Well, this is the guy who does this, and this guy." I go, "You now two will work together." And then what do you do? Well, I do this. That's all you're going to do. I don't want you to do anything else. Then I have 2 other guys. You're going to do this. And once you broke that down and I made them that position, it allowed them to grow. And now they have confidence.
How do you think the plumbing field, because that's a managerial position.
Yeah.
How do you think the plumbing taught you to be good at that? Or do you think it's...
No, it taught me everything. It taught me that what it taught me was that give everybody a shot at it. Give everybody a shot to do plumbing, because I'm not so caught up in your knowledge of how to do plumbing. I don't give a crap what you know. I'll teach you. Yeah. I'll teach a monkey how to do plumbing. I want to know that if you can grow with me. If you're going to grow with me, I'm with that. Right. Okay. I want you to have confidence that you're going to go to that truck, you're going to find that part, you're going to learn that part.
It's an attitude that you look for in people. Because my next question for you was, let's say you didn't change this industry and you were still here and you were hiring people. What would you be looking for in new employees, new apprentices, somebody who applies? What is something in that person that you're looking for?
Well, I look for somebody do you want to be a plumber? Do you want to be in the industry? I'm just doing this to get by, and then listen, then you want to do this.
So that's first off, if they even have desire.
Do you want to do this? The second thing is do you have a desire to win? And it's not plumbing. It has nothing. Do you have a desire to win in life?
Going back to athletics.
It has nothing to do with plumbing.
No, it has nothing to do with it.
It has absolutely nothing to do. When we go to the supply house, I talk to these guys all the time. It has nothing to do with plumbing. Do these guys have the spark to sell, to relate to customers, to talk to customers on a level where they can?
No, they won't. Huh? Some do, some don't.
Well, yeah, but that's what you're looking for with a new guy.
Yeah.
Well, not if he's just mechanically inclined, because you're right, you can teach anyone that.
Yeah, but I've taken guys who are like introverts, and they were like, I don't know if I can talk to this. Within a year, they were like, this is great. I'm talking to everybody. I can do this. It's every individual's. You got to take everyone. You got to take as an individual project. You know, and like I said, it's not about. What was that movie? I can't remember. He goes, I think it was with, I can't remember, but he was like, I can teach somebody how to do a trombone playing out of his whatever. And I'm going off track there, but it's not about the industry itself because you can learn how to do anything.
Mm-hmm.
I was selling insurance one year for 3 years. I never knew how to sell insurance.
No.
It was horrible, but it was just another thing I learned. I did it with my brother Pete, and I really laugh. But now I look back, we had the funniest stories from that. But we learned how to be professionals doing that.
I also think, going back to, you mentioned Mike Rowe before, he always said, don't find what you're passionate about, just do what you're doing with passion.
Yeah.
Like, as long as you are willing to give the effort towards something, that's what you're looking for. You're not looking for somebody who's necessarily, like you said, mechanically inclined or a great plumber, because you can teach that to somebody, but you can only teach that to somebody if they're willing.
Yeah. And by the way, there's nobody out there that I grew my whole life to do this. There's maybe a 0.25% of people
Nobody
that
loves plumbing.
The courts
no, nobody loves what they're doing for life. I work with lawyers and architects and stuff. These guys are miserable.
Yeah.
And they're like, is this what you want to do? I'm like, well, I like to be on my sailboat out. There's no way you're going to sit there like, I am having the best time of my life. Unfortunately, that people, the way industry or life is right now, that people work because they have to work, and it was like, do what you enjoy and you'll do it for the rest of your life. Listen, I love working my hands. I love developing, but would I like to do 20 other things? Yeah. I just want the money to do it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
But if you're doing something, I say, make it the best you can. And that's why I go back to attention to detail.
Yeah.
Do the stuff that's going to make you like when we bring people in, we tell them we're booties. We do this, do this, and that's why I tell you guys every day, make sure you take 10 minutes, clean the truck out, do this, attention to detail wins in the end, because in the end, you're going to turn around and say, wow, look what I developed. And then you're going to hear people who say your company runs well.
Yeah.
And that's what it comes down to.
It's a snowball effect.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
and that's what happens.
I got to say, I mean, listen, we're really getting down to it. We spent a lot of time. This has probably been one of my favorite episodes we've ever recorded. I had a blast.
All right.
Do you agree with that?
I do.
I
think
an
anytime
blast.
the courts get together, family members or whatever, it's
Listen, Max has been to several different family functions, so he's aware of how we function and how we communicate and all this stuff. It's a unique
group of people,
and he's still coming around, which just blows my mind.
He's still here. We can't get rid of him.
I mean,
listen,
the economy is bad. I have no choice.
Listen, you've been a big plus to our company, and what I keep telling you, I said it's not our company, it's not my company, it's our company.
Yeah,
and that's how I treat everybody. It's not me, it's everybody.
I hear socialist mentality going on here.
You've solidified your place but guys, thanks for joining us. I had a blast. I always, nobody knows. You know what? Before we go, let me just say this. I think the courts have plenty of problems of our own. All right. As a family, we have plenty of problems. We have our issues. But one thing I will say, because I've had a lot of friends throughout the years that come and hang out at family functions, they say, I've never had so much fun with a group of people. The thing about the courts is we know how to have fun, bust chops.
Listen, you got great parents and great uncles. We're out of our minds.
There's something that draws people to our
emotional abuse.
Dude, honestly, that's an aspect to it too. But as much as I, complain or say, oh, my big family, or we're still fighting, we're fighting again over stupid stuff. I'm proud to be from the family I'm from.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? As dysfunctional as we are, I'm proud to be a Courts. I'm proud to be the nephew that's...
But I don't think we're dysfunctional. I think
we are
there's
absolutely dysfunctional.
No, trust me, there's plenty of people out there the same way. Like 2 or 3 kids in a family that are crazy. And every family knows, well, I got a crazy sister, a crazy brother. It's everybody. It's just the way we act. It is what it is. Dysfunctional is everybody.
That is true.
If I find a perfect family, that's
creepy.
Yeah, you don't want to go in the house.
It's a dry toast family.
No, you're gonna end up in the basement, in a box.
Seriously.
Arms cut off, legs cut off.
I mean,
That's what they do. They always take it to the darkest places. They always go to the dark. He talks about taxidermying himself early on in the show. Now we got people, bodies in basements.
I can't help it.
No arms, no legs.
Let me say this one thing. Remember when Grandpa died? When your dad passed away, we had the funeral over here.
Yeah,
right over here at Bogert.
Yeah, right across the street.
And he passed away, and there was a line down the street that we didn't even know. All right. My grandfather, like just interacted with so many different people. When he passed away, there was a line down the road, and our family got together, the whole family caught up, and it was like almost a joyous occasion celebrating his life.
Oh, we knew he was in heaven. So
exactly. We knew he went to heaven. He loved the Lord. He loved God. He loved Jesus. He would preach to everyone about Christ. But when we were doing that funeral, we were laughing and joking and telling stories, and people were like, I can't believe.
Why would you laugh at a funeral?
Why would you laugh at this funeral? It's like, are you kidding? Like, what
was his first name again?
Richard.
Yeah.
You
should do like an in loving memory of Richard Quartz on the end of this episode.
I will do that. Absolutely. But people don't like, a lot of people, it's tough for them to understand where we're coming from, but this is how we know.
I had friends come up, that was the best funeral I've ever done.
It really was.
People were like, that was the best funeral I've
done. Like, I had the best time at this funeral.
Yeah, exactly. What do you mean best?
Wedding crashers when they move into funerals, and he's just like, we all had a great time at Quartz funeral.
It's like, we were laughing.
You want to go party, go to a Quartz funeral.
Yes.
All right.
Like, my father would never put up with
Absolutely not.
He's like,
no way.
Oh, yeah.
People wait for Quartz to die so that we can we can have a good time.
But I'm proud to be from this family. As frustrated as I get, I'm proud to like carry the torch almost. So
you have no choice.
I really don't. I mean, I'm the only one left in New Jersey, so but
Nicky's coming up.
You know what? He's got it's time for him to
get on the podcast.
No, he'll last
get in a
5
truck.
years. He'll be like, Ma, yeah. How's football going? Good. Yeah.
That'll change.
No,
we
it
all
will.
talk like that as kids, and then you reach a certain point. But Paul, thanks so much for coming on. This was an absolute blast.
Yeah, it was fun.
There's a lot of good content in this episode. Max, thanks for putting up with this family. I seriously can't believe you're still working for this company, but guys,
I tried to leave twice. It didn't work.
That is true. Guys, thanks for joining us. Just want to remind you, if you're interested in being on this show, we're always looking for local business owners, small business entrepreneurs. Anyone locally will bring you on. We'll talk. We'll have a blast. Again, go to cordtsplumbing.com, click the podcast logo, and you're going to scroll down and click the Be a Guest application. Send that in. We'll get you on. Again, these episodes, are brought to you by Jigsaw PMR, jigsawpmr.com, out of Oradell, New Jersey. Mold, fire, remediation.
Fire.
He
does mold, fire. What else he does?
There's a fourth one. I can't remember. Whatever. Go to his website. He'll tell you. But these episodes are brought to you by him. Great company, efficient, super, super responsive. And folks, as always, these episodes are also brought to you by our company, Quartz Plumbing and Heating. Been in business since 1961, family owned. We do general service. We do light commercial. We take care of heating. Water filtration is huge. But guys, thanks for joining. Please subscribe, share the videos, share the reels. We really appreciate it. And we will see you here next time.